I'm sharing my screen. Okay, and where is I already shared my screen. Is anyone confirm that you are able to see my screen?
Yes, Harsha.
Yes, Harsha. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, Hello all. Thank you for showing the interest in the workshop. So the main agenda of this workshop is like to make ourselves familiar to the Linux. Especially, I'm talking about myself. So I am very interested and passionate on Windows. So whenever I hear Linux, I feel some discomfort. Why? Because everything will be in command only. So that makes me somewhat difficult. So the for that purpose I have designed workshop how much is required for Windows administrators on Linux. So I have recorded that much only. I mean to say like uh, for all our commands are not required for us. Why? Because whenever it comes to Linux part or OS part, separate infrastructure team will be there. So sometimes we need to work along with them. So if we have an idea about what are the activities that we need to done on Linux, if we can say they will do that. So but in the interview in the it's around like 3 years back when I went for Capgemini, they asked for me do you know the Linux and are you familiar Linux part, what are the activities that you have to do the same I have to do on the Linux part. So on the same day I just bluffed that yeah, okay, you just give me some time, I will learn that. But to be frank, I didn't learn from that day onwards. Okay, I mean after 3 years, so I mean chat GPT is there, so many changes, technology changes are there. If we want to stay in the IT industry for next 15 years, we want to expand our skills into multiple areas. So this is one of the main focus area where we need to concentrate. Just wait, someone, yeah. So if we don't learn, so someone will occupy who knows chat gpt like extra tools, they will occupy our job. Why? Because with the chat gpt we can increase our productivity. So in by attending this workshop, so what we can achieve is, so what are the activities that we do the same, we can perform the same in the Linux as well. Okay, so why this came into picture means, for example, let's assume that if you want to buy a SQL Server Linux, okay, for one CPU core, it is like around 20 lakhs. So for operating system also we need to pay the same for Windows. But when it comes to Linux, so operating system is free, but support is we have to pay for the support only. For that reason, what companies are doing nowadays, they are installing the community operating systems. Okay, on top of that, they are using Linux SQL Server. For like this, they are going to reduce the price for what they are paying for the operating system. So that is the one thing. And one more thing is, if SQL Server doesn't provide support for Linux, what will happen? SQL Server itself can't be there in the IT database market. Why? Because if you see Postgres, MS SQL, MongoDB, so these are some now no SQL databases. Some are other RDBMS products as well. So these are I mean they are these RDBMS products are increasing their market share in the database market. So for that reason, SQL Server is Microsoft itself forcing it to provide the support for Linux. This is the most driving force for the Microsoft. So here, uh, what I'm doing, I already build Windows domain which is called abc.com. So password is 123 here. Okay, I already built a domain. So now what we are going to do is, we need download the ISO file. After that we are going to install operating system. After that we are going to add that Linux into domain operating system, just like how we used to do in the Just normal Windows machines. Okay, so coming to here, we so here in Linux we are various flavors are there. For example, if you take Windows, in Windows also we are having standard edition, enterprise code edition. But coming to Linux, we don't have that kind of editions and everything. So they are having main OS and sub community OSs. So what are the activities that we I am doing here? We can do the same in RHEL and CentOS Ubuntu. And coming to Ubuntu, there is a little bit syntax differences will be there that they have mentioned in the official Microsoft document. Okay, just wait. Someone is trying. Yeah. So coming to Ubuntu, the syntax will be different, a little bit different, but the procedure is very same. Okay. So now, if I want to do the same practicals on Red Hat Linux, I need to purchase the subscription ID. Just I used to just like license, like taking interpretations like that. So to avoid this, what I am doing, I am doing all these practicals on CentOS. So first, coming to this lab, so here I already built one domain in Windows that is called ABC. The domain called host name is DC and full FQDN is dc.abc.com. The IP what I have given for the Active Directory and also DNS as well. So I have installed both services. So 10.50 is the IP. Today agenda is to download ISO file and installation and configuration of CentOS in VMware workstation and join that CentOS into Active Directory domain. After that, we need to mention these below points. If you mention these below points, so it will differentiate. See, you and other person are selected in the interview for the one position. But if you mention these points, your selectivity rate will be very high comparing to others. You have to show that you are very different and you are the unique piece. Okay, so that if we select you, you can able to achieve anything in the, coming to at least you can bring all the issues to one corner. So you have to show that ability that I have done these activities like that. And if you after attending my session and you have to do the same, what are the names that I used to use in this workshop, the same names you can use the same. And once it is done, everything is good, then you can go, whatever names you are having, you can, as per your needs. Okay, first step is we are going to download the CentOS. Below these two links, anyone is enough. Once it is done, we will see step by step process. Now I'm moving to the browser. So one we browse the CentOS.org, like official website. Click here download. Once you click here download, now coming here you need to x86 or 64-bit. You need to click on this link. So in all these three link, any click, you can click any one link. I'm selecting first one. Now here you can use CentOS 86.iso. It is like 9.5 GB is there. Why? Because we need to install all the dependent packages, right? So that's the reason you have to download this highest version. Once you click on that, it will get downloaded like this. So I already downloaded that. That's the reason I'm canceling it here again. Okay, so the first job is done. So I'm going to send these two links over the email. Okay, no need to worry at all. Now, so now what I will show in the paint itself. Okay, so this is my Active Directory. This is one Windows domain. Why? Because to once it is done, we need to connect to using SSMS and everything. That's the reason. SSMS is we cannot install SSMS in Linux. That's the reason I have added one Windows machine as well. Just keep keep this aside here. So here one Linux machine, another Linux machine. So here I'm calling it as a Node 21. Node 21. Node 22. Why? Because I before doing the practical, coming to design the workshop and everything, I have done up to 5 to 6 times. So that's the reason I already used all the VMs and nodes and everything. That's the reason I'm using Node 21 and Node 22. Okay. Once it is done, we are going to join this. This is This part is already done. So once it is done here, we are going to install SQL Server here. Okay, this is the day 2 I am talking about. So once this is done, we are going to configure always on between these two. And also how we are going to build always on, we are establishing cluster. Okay, so we are establishing cluster and Linux on top of the cluster. We are going to build the always on. So when talking about the Windows, we have few differences. What are the differences means? I'm taking up. So here generally when we are going, when what we are used to call here, we are having drives. Generally we used to call it as a drives, right? Here we call it as a directories. So whenever we want to give the path or anything, it will be like this, always backslash, right? But whereas it Linux, it will be like forward slash. If you see this, slash bar slash, it will be like this. Always Linux forward slash will be used. So for example, if you want to open notepad, what we will do, for example, we will go in for respective word pads and everything, we will open like this. Okay, but in Linux, what we want to, first we want to open the notepad. Okay, once it is open, we need to click file and we have to go to the respective folder. Like that we will open. It has to be like same in the Linux, but only through GUI. Oh, sorry, only through command based. In Linux, we are having commands, editor notepads. Here we call it as a notepad. In Linux, we used to call it as a VI editor. So first we need to give the VI editor and we have to give the file name and everything. So like this, we have to open any notepad files and we have to write whatever we want. So we will see that part as well. Okay. So first thing was done here. We already downloaded. Now we are moving to done. So we have to move to the installation part. Now I'm opening the VMware workstation. So here you need to click create a new virtual machine. So I don't know why. So there is a bug in latest version Microsoft. So if you select typical, the options will be very minimal and you will encounter an error. So that's the reason you always select the custom, proceed to next, select later and select. Here select this I will install the operating system later, proceed to next. Here we are installing CentOS 7, but here you have to select CentOS 8. You can ask me why. So if you select CentOS 7 here, what we need to install VMware tools as well. For example, generally olden days, what we have old computer. Okay, when we install operating system, after that what we need to install respective drivers we need to install, right? So here in this mission, in this VMware workstation, VMware or Hyper-V, we have to install Hyper-V tools. If it is Hyper-V, if it is a VMware, we need to install VMware tools. So since I am a Windows guy, I am not familiar how to install VMware tools in Linux. Okay, so that's the reason I am selecting Windows 8. In Windows 8, VMware tools will get automatically installed. Okay, please do remember, we are not going to install any Linux machine in real time. This is all job all by Linux administrator. To make ourselves, we have to do. Why? Because here we are the only system administrator and network and everything. Everything has to be us only. Proceed to next. So here I already installed Node 21. So Node 22. Next. So I am selecting 2 CPUs. Next. So here minimum you have to give the 4 GB. So what happened if you go lower memory, means that while installing SQL Server itself failed that unable to install SQL Server because of low memory. You will encounter this error. So minimum, what my experience is minimum 4 GB, 4096 MB. Proceed to next, 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 next. So create new disk, next. Here select that, give the 60 GB. Okay, next, next, finish. So as of now, what we have done is we have installed a virtual hardware. Now click on edit virtual machine. Here go to CD DVD drive, select ISO, browse. Now go to the location where you have downloaded that file. Select the CentOS 7 everything dot 2019 9 ISO. Click OK. Click OK. Okay. So this was done. Now power on the virtual machine. Once it is done, so here you will see click on I will finish installation. Click that, and here you go to the up like initial CentOS 7. Otherwise, it will automatically select after some time. Okay, press enter. So it is installing. So here we have nothing we can do here. It will install automatically. So here we are having a GUI prompt here. I am going with the default option English states. Let's continue here. So here select date and time. Select Kolkata, India here. Okay. Select 24 frame, 12 a.m. time. Click done here. So we have selected with the time part. Now click on software selection here. Here we need to install server with GUI option. Why? Because so it's the first time, right? So that's the reason we need to select with server with GUI. Done. Just wait, it is checking the dependencies and everything. Yeah, now done. Now select the destination, select the hard drive here. So once you select the hard drive, here we will get the options. So it is like when we are going to install Windows operating system, we will divide that, right? 50 GB for C drive, 20 GB for like D drive. The same thing what we are going to do here. So here you need to select this option. I will configure partitioning. Click done. Once you click that, you're done. You will get this wizard. Now here you need to click plus symbol here. Slash means here root. So here it is like just like C drive in our Windows. So what we are going to give for 10 GB. So 10 G means 10 GB. Click add mount point here. Okay. Now click another drive. See here boot. Boot means like boot partition. 512 MB. 512 MB is the standard partition. You can give if you are having more than GB, you can also give more than 512 MB, but minimum is 512 MB. Click add mount point. Click plus symbol. Home, just like user profiles. If you create Harsha user in this machine, some settings will be there, right? Just like in our Windows, we are in C drive we are having one folder called users. The same like this. Okay. For this, I am going to give 2 GB or 2G. Okay. For var For where means the log space and everything. Whenever the third party software is installed, it will going to store the logs in this directory. So for this I am going to give 10G. For swap partition, what is mean by swap? Okay, comparing to Windows, so whenever the RAM get full, it will transfer the load to the hard disk, to the page file .sys. Okay, for coming to Windows, that right, so we used to call as a virtual memory. So here in Linux we used to call that same process called as swap. So what is the general recommendation we used to follow is, how much RAM we are having, we have to give double to that. So right now I have given 4 GB memory. That's the reason I am giving 8 GB. Okay, click on 8 GB. Okay, someone is joined, I think so. Okay, once it is done, so here you need to click modify. So you can rename it as a my volume group. It is not mandatory, just keep this name, what are the name you want to. Okay, click OK, done. Once it is done, so you need to accept the changes. So simply we are building the Pi operating system. Okay, the custom partition is done. Okay, click on done, accept. Okay, now you need to click on the network and host name. Once it is done, click on this. Okay, uh, now here what is the name? So what is the name that we have given? Node 22. One you have written here, you need to click apply. See, now it got changed. Okay, now we need to assign. See, when now in Windows, what is the adapter name that we used to call? So I am coming to out of the workwell workstation. So NCPL. So this is the common name, right? So here Ethernet. So in Linux, ENS 160 is the common name. Okay, click configure here. Go to IPv settings. Select manual method. Click add. Here you need to add 10.0.0.22, right? So what is the subnet mask? 255.0.0.0. Okay, so here what is the DNS name? So okay, that we need to give the DNS name, IP address 10.10.10.50. So in which domain it has to search? abc.com. This is my domain name. So once it is done everything, click save. Okay, see, the changes got applied. Click done. Okay, we are, as of now we are good. Now proceed, begin installation. So in the process it will ask for the root password. Select that, proceed 123. Whatever password you can give that, but just for practice purpose to went very smooth, I have given purpose. Press double time. That is done. Click new user. Whenever you reboot the sent user, it will log in with this user. I'm naming it as Harsha. So you can require this password. You can remove this. So whenever it will log in, rebooted, it will by default the user will get login with the name called Harsha. Okay, so all this is all about installation of and configuration of CentOS. So once it is done, so what are the activities that we will leave it to the installation part. So once it is done, we need to go to this part. Okay, here you need to give the ENS 160, just like Windows adapter Ethernet. So we need to give that IP. So one thing in Linux, what will happen, right? So I will tell you here. So I'm going to the Linux part here. So I'm going to properties, like properties. I will give the IPs, right? Just like this is Linux virtual Linux machine. I'm going to give like IP like this. So once after restarting that operating system, so it will remove that IP and it will give the another fresh IP. So that is the default behavior of the Linux, or because of DSH whatever settings. So to avoid that, see, manually I'm telling that your IP your address should be 1.10.10.22, but what happen if I reboot? It will get changed to something else. So everything will get disturbed. So that's the reason once we rebooted the operating system and everything, we need to tell that operating system, no, no, no. Even though even after reboot also, you have to keep this IP. So if you go this an IP, there is an option called boot on priority. So on boot on priority, if you have to kept to yes, even after reboot also, it will keep the same IP. So that is the first part. So who is going to take care in the real time? Windows team. Okay, so the next step what we need to do, we need to maintain the host records for the Linux. See here we are having two different operating systems, so always there will be some difficulty in proper resolution. So to avoid this, okay, but I am having one cell phone, why not for backup purpose I maintain another cell phone? There is nothing wrong for backup purpose, right? So that's the reason we are going, uh, where is that, we are maintaining, even though we are having DNS host record and everything, for safety purpose we are maintaining the resolution from Linux end as well. So what is that address in Windows? C system32 drives etc host file, but in Linux etc host. So what is the format? First we need to give the IP address, we need to give the host name, and we need to give the FQDN name. So once it is done, so we need to go to this address. Okay, all just understand what I am doing. So remaining all are copy and paste only. Okay. So once it is done, we need to provide the local entry DNS details and everything we have to keep in this result.config. So once this is done, we need to install the required packages here. See what this real MD dependent packages. If Linux machine is built by on different technology and Windows will be different on different technology. For example, if you want to install failover cluster, what we will do in that respective system, we will install failover clustering feature, right? The same thing, if we want to do install like, so we require real MD packages to join into in Windows domain. So for that reason, we need to install these packages, just like installing Seek services, okay, in our Windows. Okay, once it is done, we can use this command to join our Windows domain. Once it is joined the Windows domain, so we can use this command to see whether the Linux operating system is joined or not. Okay, so like this, you can verify that the ID is there or not. Yeah, it is still installing, no problem, we will continue with theory. So once it is done, we need to turn off like fully qualified. See, tell me one thing, whenever you are going to log in operating system, everything it is not we are not going to give the full qualified name, like right, like Harsha Reddy dot at the date infosys.com, right? We don't give this full qualify name. So to avoid this, see, every time I don't like to give the at the date abc.com or the date infosys.com. So to avoid this, what I am doing here, so I am going to this place and I am making this option use fully qualified name to the false. Okay, so give the false as it is. So one thing I need to stress, one point here is Linux is case sensitive. So, for example, in the Windows, sorry, in Linux, you are having a file called text, where the text is where the first letter text is in caps. But if you want to copy that file, you have given small letter. It will tell that there is no file. Just like our collision, different collision will be there in SQL Server. So the same way Linux will act. So we need to tell that. Okay, so we need to, for example, if you if you give like this, you will get an error. So whenever you have to give or doing, either you have to make sure that it is either it is cap letter or small letter. So you need to I mean carefully identify that part. So once it is done, so the beauty of the Linux here is whatever you want to you have done to update. Sometimes no need to install restart SQL Server. You need to restart the respective services only to make the services up. So once it is done, we need to add that user, Windows user. So the Windows user is like administrator. Even though it is an administrator, it is joined to domain, but for that user it has to be only limited permissions. So for example, I will show you one thing here, so that, so I'm, for example, there is one user called Harsha. Okay, so that is a normal user. If you want to make that user in Windows, what we will do, we will go to manage, share for local users, administrators. You will add here, right? So you will add that user and you will give the so once you add that user, that user will become local administrator, means full privileges. Okay, so the same thing what we are doing here is, in Linux there is a group called wheel. Okay, if you add any Windows user or Linux user to the wheel group, it will become as a local sys administrator. But one thing you need to remember is, in Windows we used to call as a administrator, in Linux we used to call as a root. Okay, here in Windows we used to call as a main drive, where the operating system will install is C drive. In Linux it will be root/root. Okay, so that is done. Now we need to create the host record for from to have a proper resolution from Windows side onwards. Okay, so this is what about the theory part and everything. Let's see that installation is wait. So shall I wait for 5 minutes so that installation part will finish?
Okay, Akshay.
Yeah.
Hey Harsha,
Yeah. Yeah.
here.
Yes.
So like while talking about the packages, so
Yeah.
like you said, like we need to download and install some packages.
Yes.
So how we will be like going to know like which packages we need to install, or like is there anything specific to this particular installation, or like
No. Yes.
do we
So,
have any?
no.
Yeah.
See, for every service we are I mean we have having respective packages. So if you give for example, I will show one thing here. I'm showing one the same example how we used to do like service. So I have selected remote services. Just assume that. Okay. If you press next, so what are the options that will, by default the required features will get selected here, right? So the same thing. So the Microsoft website will there is official documentation for Linux as well. For if you see that websites and everything, it will tell us. For example, I'm going through this Google SQL Server. See here, so here you can see that if you are installing a SQL Server RHL comes under same CentOS, right? So you can use this package. The Microsoft will tell us, okay, if you want to do this, you have to install these packages. Okay. So for now, for the same to joining the domain everything, so you can use the same. Okay, except for all the things. Okay, so not this. You can use this realmd package. Okay, for the if you install these packages, there will be dependent packages also. Only thing is you require internet. Okay, so as of now we have given only one virtual adapter for CentOS. So once it is done everything, we need to add the another drive, another virtual network adapter for CentOS. I will show you. So apart from this, any other doubts? Hello, team. Hello.
So far, so good, Harshit.
we are
No
good,
doubt.
Harsha.
No, Harsha.
Yeah. I will be mute for some time up to the installation part. Okay. So hello, hi. Here the installation has been completed. So now I am rebooting here.
Okay.
Hello, Harsha.
Yeah, yes, please.
Actually, from at my end, I don't have the VM workstation. I do have this Oracle VirtualBox. Can I implement the same the step which you showed over here in the Oracle VirtualBox?
Yes, yes, you can do that. Yeah, you can same. All are this like just like facilities, right? So you can do the same. But when it comes to issues, so I'm not familiar that issues and everything. You can do the same. Okay.
Because I have
Yeah.
created an ID also over there in Oracle VirtualBox. That's what.
Yes, yes, you can do that. Yeah. So for FUI purpose, so you can download that VMware workstation, like trial edition, and for keys also you can get in the internet. If you don't get it, I will provide this VMware workstation and license as well over the email. Okay. Click done. So license accepted, right? So click the accept licenses, click done. Now here we need to click that network name. You need to turn it on. See that everything is changed or not. So 10.22 same, DNS is same, okay, Node 22 is same, everything is same. Done. Click. See here ENS 160 is the Ethernet adapter name. Press done. Finish configuration. Click on Harsha, user. So here, if you see that open, proceed to next, next, turn off the location services not required, next, skip, start using CentOS Linux. Click close. Now here, right click on the Windows desktop, click open terminal. Now if you see here, host name is node 32. Okay. Uh, what is that command that we to see the what is IP in Windows? IP config, right? In Linux, it is a if config. See, if you I'm maximizing the terminal. If you see here, ENS win 160. So 1.22, 10.22, right? So that is the one thing. So what we need to do here, I'm just opening the WordPad. Just copy this thing. Up to here, I will copy. Okay. So here, one thing you need to remember is Harsha is the user. At the date node, this is the computer name, host name. This is the privilege. If you see the dollar is normal user. So if you see slash hash symbol, it will be like root admin privileges. So whatever we want to do, we need respective permissions. Since we are not Linux administrator, so I am switching to Windows administrator. If you want to switch user, what we will do in Windows, we will right click on this, we will sign out or we will log off and we will log in again. But in Linux, we will use switch user command hyphen root. I am switching to the main user. Press enter. Password is 123. So here the password will be not visible. You need to consciously press. Okay, you need to just you need to press one by one. Okay, press enter. So now I have logged into the root privileges with the root user. Okay, so I am pasting it that command // if config ens 160. See why I have copied half of the command means to get this device name. So okay, so in my case it will be in most of the scenarios it will be ens 160, but if you change any name it will be I don't know, right? So for that you need to type if config and you need to see this is 160 like 160 drive. Okay, ethernet ethernet name itself 160 here. So you get that, just type the command, press the tab. So what are the options? It will be there. It will the system will get filled. Press enter. See, you will get this command. Now what we will do here, you need to come on root priority. What is that here? Okay, yes is right. So here I told you this is the notepad editor. In notepad we are having only modes are there. Right now we are in the visible mode. So to edit, to write any something, we need to press I symbol. When I press symbol here, if you see here, here we are having nothing, right? If I press I, see here, you will see that insert mode. Insert mode means we can write anything. Okay, so I came to unboot here. I just removed the back symbol and I got removed. I'm giving S symbol. Okay, so S is a small letter. So if you give S Y as a capital letter, it will get fail. Okay, so I have changed to the for no to yes. Now what we need to do from the K mode, from the insert mode? First we need to press escape button, shift semicolon. Now, okay, now we are in the exit option. Now if you want to save this information, we need to press WQ. If you want to be in the same notepad editor, we need to quit, right? If you press W, it will save, but it will be in this editor only. But we don't require this editor, right? So we need to press Q always. So if you want to quit the forcefully, we need to give the W symbol. Okay, you write something and you don't want to do that save there. Just give the Q symbol and inverted I. It means you are quitting forcefully. So right now I want to save, right? So small w, small q, inverted I. Press enter. Okay. So for example, if you use upper arrows, we have direction arrows, right? So you will get the same command. So what we will do here, we will remove here vi and giving the cat symbol means we are viewing the data in the command prompt. See S symbol. If you see here, on boot priority. Where is that on boot priority is equal to yes. So to view any data, any notepad data in the command itself, we are going to use cat command. Okay, if you want to view the data and edit data, we can use VI editor. So it's all up to you how you are familiar. Okay, so once the second part was done. Okay, so now what we need to do, we want to use host record. Just copy, just paste. So we are in, we have just opened the notepad. Just come down, press I to to go into the insert mode. Press I. Okay, see the format here. First IP address, host name and host name dot domain, fully qualified name. So what is that host name? What is that IP? 10.10.10.10 What is the IP here? Node name, node 22. What is the domain for the resolution? Node 22.abc.com. The same thing, we need to add another node, right? So in the practically I'm showing for 22. For why? Because I cannot show you that installation of two Linux. Why? Because time. Okay, so before the demo itself, I already installed Node 32 and kept as a in the suspended mode. Okay, so we need to give that IP as well, right? So 10.10.21. What is that IP? Node 21. Node. Sorry. Node 22. Or sorry. Node 21 dot abc.com. Okay, so we have entered the into in the notepad, right? So to K mode, what we need to do first, press escape symbol, press shift, hold shift button and press semicolon and give w, small q in small inverted I. Press enter. Now see that remove the view vi and see the cat. See the what are the information that we typed just now, it got saved. Okay, so we can also give the domain name, right? 10.10.0.50 dc space dc.abc.com. This is my active directory domain, right? Escape, shift colon, small w, small q, inverted I. Okay, so this is that done. Now what we need to do, we need to give DNS, just copy this command, paste it here. So vi/etc, yeah, so it is done. So here we are having such abc.com only, it is good only. Now press escape, shift colon, q is nothing is there to save, right? So that's the reason I didn't give the w. Escape. Okay, this is good. Now everything is good. We need to install this point. Here I don't have internet, right? Why? Because I have added as part of joining domain, I have added the custom IP. That's the reason we don't have any internet for this virtual machine. For the reason I need to add another adapter. Click network adapter.
Harsha, why are you adding second adapter?
Why? Because for internet purpose.
Okay.
So in real time, they will take networking part of everything, they will take care, right? But here I'm not familiar in everything, that networking part. For that reason, to avoid any complex issues or anything, I'm adding this. Okay. Why it is not highlighting here? Yeah, network adapter, finish. So we can have default gateway if you want internet, but I don't want to mess up with internet part and in anything. That's the reason I don't want to touch it. So to see the whether internet is working or not, just type ping google.com. See, ping, we are getting response. It means for this machine we are having internet. That press Ctrl C to avoid to came out that ping. Okay, now you just copy this command. Nothing we can do, just copy that same thing here, paste it. See, if you see here, see it is downloading the respective packages and every dependings and everything. See here you are able to see that percentage, what could be the size as well. As of now, nothing we can do, just give the command, leave it to the operating system. Just sit aside and see the response.
Harsha,
Yep.
sorry for interrupting
No
you.
problem, yeah.
So it means the internet is mandatory for downloading the packages, RAM install whatever the packages we want to
Yes,
install the
yes,
CentOS
yes,
machine.
yes.
And because of that only we added this network adapter for internet.
Yes. So in real time, they will download the packages in the local system. They will create just like FTP service, that kind of stuff here. They will download that. Okay. So here, as of now, that much of configuration is not required for SQL Server or anything, right? So you can add, to avoid everything, you can add internet and you can download these packages. See here, I'm having only few packages. See here, I'm having only few packages, right? But in the backend, it will install so many dependent packages as well. See, from here starting to here. Okay. So here it will asking that if you want to install, press Y. If you don't want to install, you want to download, you have to keep that download in your local system, you need to press D. If you don't want to install, press N. Now I want to install, right? I'm pressing small y, press enter. Now it will be installing that feature and everything. Is it okay? Press Y. Yes. See, we have successfully installed the respective packages. So the system is now ready to add that into uh, Windows domain. Now just copy these packages. Now see here, let's understand what the command is. Realm join is the command. Hyphen user for which with what user you want to add that. This is the Windows user. Administrator is the local global domain administrator. Okay, so I'm giving just right the same account in real time. What are that account that you are having privileges to add any system into the domain, you can give that domain account. So here you need to give the domain address. Okay, where your active directory got installed. You just copy this command. So before that I want to see that realm package. Any See, I didn't get any output, means I didn't have any this system not yet joined to any other identity management. Okay. Now I just copy this command. Now press copy and paste. So it is asking the password of administrator of Windows 1, 2, 3. We have successfully joined that system and everything to the Windows. See how we used to join in Windows. Just like go to the properties, rename this PC, change. So this is how we used to add in the domain Windows. For Linux, only the respective package. So all the respective packages and these two commands. With these two commands only we can add this Linux into Windows. Okay. Now we will see the real M list. Press upper arrow 2 times. See, you will see that real M. So abc.com, abc.com SSD services. See, allow real M logins. It means what are the Windows user, it will be there. You can directly log in into the Linux with that user. Okay. Now what we need to do? So every time we cannot log in with the like harsha@abc.com, praveen@abc.com, praveen@abc.com, right? So I just type my user Praveen or Harsha and I give him the password. To get that privilege, what we need to do? Just I need to tell to operating system, hey operating system, you just forget that domain name. Okay, just go proceed with the users. So for that you just copy this command, go to that operating system node 2, paste it. Now what we are having, see here we can what are here, use fully qualified names, right? So here we need to give the false. So for that what we need to do, we need to go to the insert mode. What we need to give the to go into the insert mode, we need to press I. Now you are able to see that insert mode. We are in the insert mode. Now we need to give the type the false. F is the capital letter, FLESE. I will see that false, FLESE. Okay. So even if you give the small letter, it will give the error. Okay, you cannot able to restart services. So we have given that false. Press escape button, shift colon w small q inverted I. Press enter. Now if you want to see the same is right or not, remove the vi, give the cat. Now if you see here, see false means what are the information we have edited that got saved. Okay, so that is done. Now what we need to do, we need to add, see, administrator is a global administrator in Windows but not in the Linux. To avoid this, we are going to give the root privileges. How? We are having, just like we are having administrators group in Windows, right? So in Linux we are having wheel group. So for that reason we are adding, just this is the simple command. Whatever the user you want to give as a root privileges, just replace that user with this command, in the place of administrator. It will become as a root privileges. Okay, a local administrator. Yeah, now it got administrator got I mean to say, like, administrator now became as a root privilege, root user as well in the Linux. Okay, that is the one thing. Now what we need to do, we need to install host, create a host a record in the DNS. Where the DNS got installed in my system, in the DC 123. Now go to tools, go to DNS, go to forward lookup rows, click on ABC. Now click new host record. What is that IP name, right? Small name node 22. Give all the small letters only, okay, to avoid the conflicts. 10.0.0.22. Add host. Okay, I need to give the same for node 21, right? So node 21 10.10.0.0.21. Click add host. Okay, so once it is done, so by this all this activity, so once you done and everything installation done in your part, so you know that what are the things that you required from DNS part and everything. So you can ask that, so team, I have installed so and so SQL server, you just go and create this host record and let me know. Okay, in the real time we are not having privilege to create a host record and everything, right? So whenever we want, we are in the shift, we can ask team, so I am going to do this, all these activities. For this I need some DNS host record on this. So you can communicate with the with other teams what you need from their end. Okay, so this is all about Windows, like how we used to download and everything. Uh, as of now, what we learn is we just downloaded that CentOS ISO file, and we have installed and we done some network concept for proper resolution and everything. We have added host records, we have added new virtual adapter, we have installed the dependent packages and everything. Now what we will do here, okay, so now I'm going to Active Directory.
Harsha, just one question, brother.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever we used to add node, any node, isolated node to the Active Directory, that host entry automatically come into the DNS, if I'm not mistaken, right? But in
Yes,
the Linux, we need to
yes,
intentionally add those host entries.
yes, yes. In the Active Directory, I think so it will get add. From Linux point of, I will see that. Let's see that other Active Directory computers. Yeah, in the Active Directory, users and computers, no need to add, it will come by default. Okay. But whereas in DNS, especially, we need to add it. Okay. Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Yes,
now
yes,
what?
sir. Thanks.
Yeah, what we will do here? Switch. See, we have created the home directory. Okay. for everything. Now we are, I have logged into the system in Linux operating system with what user administrator that or the of abc.com. Okay, so, this says that I have successfully installed, I successfully joined the Linux operating system into the Windows. So as of now, I'm going to do for the tomorrow. I have going to do the same practical uh, on the Windows 22, and I keep these 21 and 22 to do the same practical. Tomorrow, what we are going to learn is how we need to install SQL Server on Linux operating system. Once it is done, how we can log into the Linux SQL Server from Windows. So for example, let's assume that this is my Windows machine. I will open SSMS. Now I cannot connect to the SQL Server using Windows authentication. Why? Because SQL Server was installed with S authentication, so it is quite different here. So whenever we install SQL Server in Windows, by default, in which mode it will be? By default, it will be in Windows configuration, right? But in Linux, it will be like reverse, quite opposite. It will be in SA mode. Okay, so to avoid this, I want to tell that operating system, SQL Server, okay, user, I cannot log in, I cannot use every time SA authentication. Okay, so I need to configure Windows authentication as well for SQL Server. It's just not like, so how we used to change the authentication? We will log in through SSMS, go to the database security, we will change that. Just one switch, right? But in Linux, there will be having almost 5 to 6 commands to change the Windows authentication. So once it is done, so tomorrow what we are going to learn is I will type the notepad for the handy. So installation of SQL Server, um, configuring Linux SQL Server for Windows authentication. Forgive my feelings. Okay, once it is done, create the certificates. So coming to SQL Server, you tell me one thing, from which version of SQL Server we are having Linux support? Can anyone tell me that?
2017.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 17, right? For 2017, what they have done is, so they are going to, through certificates only, the two Linux SQL servers are going to communicate. So for to configure always on, we are going to create the certificates. So that is a day 2. So if you are interested, and so if you don't feel that very much burden, we are going to create the creating the pacemaker cluster. So pacemaker cluster, okay, and I'm going to create always on, and I'm doing manual failover. Okay, so if you are okay and if you have that kind of interest and you time as well, I will finish all this tomorrow itself. If not, I'm going to do this for day 2 and this is for day 3. So this is all about the day 1 workshop. How you feel that? Is that good, or are you okay? Are you very much is this okay for you?
Yes, sir. It's very good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Harsha.
Yeah.
Harsha, are you sharing this video?
Yes, yeah. I'm sharing to you as well. Okay.
Harsha, like one more thing,
Yes.
the payment I'm going to do it on your that link what you shared. I'll
Okay.
do the right away.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, thank you, Harsha.
Yeah,
Harsha,
I'm going to send this document as well. Okay, over the email, and you can use it. Okay. So once the 3 days workshop is completed, so make sure that you are going to mention these points in the resume. Okay, and you can confidently speak. Okay, so I have done these activities along with. So they will tell you that. Okay, the are you familiar with the pacemaker cluster? Yes, I am very much familiar. I generally I worked with the Linux operating system, Linux cluster team. So everything will be in the bridge call. So I will tell them what and all required from my end, and I will have some privileges to remove that. So, and one thing what I need to do is here, um, I will show that in Notepad. Terminology is same. Okay, so here, what is the identity module that we use in Windows? Generally, any Active Directory, right? This is the identity module, very much famous in Windows and also on other platforms as well. For the same Active Directory kind of we can configure from Linux as well, that we call as a LDAP. So this is the identity modules. So like that we are having n number of identity modules in Linux, but uh, I don't know why, but Active Directory got famous in all other OSs. Okay, so in Windows, we used to call Windows cluster, Windows failover cluster, right? So here we are having so many clusters in Linux. So one is pacemaker, one is HP safeguard, something is there, HP safeguard. So many commands, so many so many third-party services are there to provide cluster kinds of services. So one of the free service is called pacemaker. That's the reason we are going to use of this service. Okay. So this is all about. Is there any questions? Hello?
Yeah, sir, can you provide workstation software as well, please?
Yeah, sure. Over the email, I will provide that everything. So shall I stop the recording? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.